Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak the ones the others apostles of great millstone, the others great millstone, and the hopeful like peace, sincerity. I'm the brother Chayaba, of course, coming back with another lesson. Through the spirit. It's gonna be a quick one, man. Through the spirit. Just to start off, Isaiah 14:1, it says, "For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy upon Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land." Yeah, so at every other nation, man, the Lord's going to choose to have mercy upon the nation of Israel. When it says Jacob here, of course, it's just another word for for Israel, because we know Jacob's name got changed into Israel. So, not to get it confused or anything, Jacob simply means Israel. So out of all other nations, the Lord would choose to have mercy on Jacob. So it goes on to say, and set them in their own land. Because who's in our land right now? You got you got these people, these small hats, the anti-48ers who are in our land, calling themselves, claiming that they're, the chosen people of the Most High. But what, by works, but, by what they be doing? Literally, by their whole history, man, it shows to be the complete opposite. They're really, man, the children of Satan. So what? The day's gonna come where Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai will take down our enemies. Then he will put us back, the Israelites, back in their own land, as well as to conquer all the other nations. The Lord isn't just gonna put the Israelites back in their land. The other nations still gonna be, having their own land ruling. Nah, man. Once the Lord sets back Israel again, that's gonna be for eternity, and we're gonna have complete supremacy over these other nations through the Spirit under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because we know Yahushai will establish the kingdom. It says, going on in Isaiah 14:1, it says, "And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob." Yeah, and the strangers, of course, in this verse represent the Israelite foreigners who are scattered amongst these other nations who might look like the other nations, but their spirit goes back to the seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Of course, we don't have the documents to prove that, our lineage can go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But what? It's through spirit. It's through the spirit. It's through faith. Because a true Israelite is going to have a spirit of an Israelite. You can't, you got a lot of Christians who try to get it twisted saying, oh, you can spiritually be Israelite. That's not true. You can only be an Israelite if your lineage is of Israel. And you can't just take, if your lineage isn't of Israel, then you can't just have the spirit of an Israelite. That's not how it works. If your lineage is of Israel, if your lineage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then that means you do have a spirit of an Israelite. But what? Of course, through the spirit, because, when, for example, when you see a man in the Lord, he might have the appearance of a heathen. But, if he's going hard in this thing, if he's going hard within the truth, then that means that he's an Israelite. Because no true heathen is going to be doing the work of the Lord so, diligently. The Lord already put it in them to serve their own gods, their own idols. But when you bring out real quick James 1:1, It says, James 1 and 1, it says, James, a servant of the Most High, of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Because one of the curses was that we were going to be scattered amongst these other nations for our disobedience. Read Deuteronomy 28 and 64. It tells you that. So that's one of the curses that the Lord put upon us for our disobedience towards him. Well, we got sent across all the other nations, as slaves. Our people got with the heathen, which is nothing, it's not a sin to, have a concubine. But that's just what happened, and then further down the line, as our people dwell within these other nations, their sons had, heathen women, and then their sons had heathen women, and then further down a few generations, your descendants will start to look like the heathen. But does that mean that you're automatically heathen now because you have, the appearance of one? No. If your bloodline, if your lineage, through your father's lineage, because your lineage is determined by your father. It's not determined by your mother. So if your seed line goes back to an Israelite, then you are an Israelite. Point blank, period. Verse 2 of Isaiah 14, going back to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 2, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Yeah, and look how our people were complete captives to these other nations, mainly Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. This is prophecy right here. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were. This hasn't happened yet. Because, you got a lot of people trying to push that all the other nations will be saved. Well, how will this prophecy be fulfilled if all these other nations will be apparently saved? The scriptures are literally against the heathen. It's all written within the scriptures. What's gonna happen unto the heathen, man? What's gonna happen unto those who afflicted the Lord's people? But hey, at the end of the day, these people are looking for some type of mercy. These heathen out here, but you're not gonna get any, man. Because right now, right now, if they really wanted to, they could help us, but it's not in them to help us. The Lord's hardening their hearts, keeping them proud, so that when Yahweh Bashim Yahushai comes back, it'll be even greater. He can let out, a full, complete judgment, because at the end of the day, all the Lord is doing is letting the pride build up within these heathens. It says, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and shall rule over their oppressors. So this is going to come to pass, man, whether you like it or not. And I'm speaking to you Israelites, because, you got some Jakes out there who haven't repented yet. I'm speaking to the Jakes, man, who haven't repented. You're still trying to, follow after these other religions, saying that, you can, telling you to love all nations, blah, 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 love everybody. Nah, man, at the end of the day, you're supposed to love your neighbor, which your neighbor, when you go into that, means the ones, basically, man, it goes in, to the ones who are like you. For example, if we Love our neighbor, we're supposed to love the ones who are among us, like the godly, the godly, the ones who are actually serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Verse 3, it says, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. And those are the Israelites who, of course, were put into the hard bondage. So-called Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos, those are the people who fit those curses. And the hard bondage, if you read Deuteronomy 28:14 on down, it tells you about the hard, basically all the curses we were suffered through. And all those curses match up with so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Latinos. So yeah, it's going to come a day when, hey, the Lord's going to bless all of his brothers, man. And few sisters out there. The elect of the nation of Israel. And of course, eventually the 2/3 of the nation of Israel will come back through the seed of the elect within the kingdom. Reading, pursuant to Zechariah 13:8, it speaks to how you have a 2/3 that will be cut off within the nation of Israel, and you got a 1/3 that will be saved, that the Lord have mercy upon. So what? Verse 3 again, it shall come to pass in the day that Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Going to Jeremiah 30 and 30:7, Jeremiah 30:7, it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Yeah, and Jacob's trouble is approaching. Jacob's trouble, of course, when all hell breaks loose, famine, pestilence, death, basic chaos is at its climax. When times get real rough out here, everything shuts down. It's all mayhem, chaos out here. Storehouses, these stores become empty. Esau institutes the MOTB. Hey, that's Jacob's trouble right there. But it says what? But he shall be saved out of it. Who's going to be saved out of it? The elect of the nation of Israel. The ones who are waiting patiently for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Weeping in the current time we are in right now, because the majority of our people, of the nation of Israel are seeking, for that mirth, are seeking to rejoice here, instead of, really mourning and really, opening their eyes to what times we're in right now. Verse 8, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that I will break. God, it says that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. So Khan, it says, verse 9, but they shall serve the Lord Yahweh their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Yeah, man. So what? So instead of serving these heathen, mainly Esau, Edom, the Lord's gonna break off that yoke that of course was put upon us by Esau, Edom, these other nations. And all of the things that hold this bondage will be bursted. The Lord will strip that away. And it will be turned upon Esau and the heathen themselves. And then what? Of course, right now, the elect of the nation of Israel are repenting unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and serving him right now, in their current state. But what? Of course, in a sense, physically, we still got to serve this captivity. We got to work. We got to, still operate within the society. But hey, it's going to be a certain point when Esau institutes the MOTB, we're going to completely drop, all ties we got with the society. Because what? The MOTB is the only thing that's going to be linking it, it's going to be the only thing that links you to the society. So once Esau makes, everything, if you don't have the MOTB, you can't operate within society. That's exactly when we drop everything. But what? The Lord is going to keep us safe. The scriptures speak about how no man shall buy or sell save he that had the mark, the mark of the MOTB. But what? The Lord's going to keep his servants fed. The Lord's going to keep his elect safe. And that's what you have hope in. Isaiah 16:14, it says, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. Look, let me read it again. It says, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Lord Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So everyone who has afflicted us, man, which was all the other nations, man, they afflicted us. Mainly Esau, Edom, he's put the most affliction upon us, so-called white man. But what? The heathen as well aided, basically aided this devil, it aided Esau, Edom to afflict us. So what's going to come to pass when all the other nations, man, will come bending down onto us? Once Yahushua comes back, man, establishes his kingdom, takes those many crowns upon his head, symbolizing him having dominion, complete dominion over all the other nations. That's when they're going to come bending down onto us. Yeah, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Verse 15, whereas that has been forsaken and hated, that's so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Yes, so even though we're called many proverbs, bywords, we're looked at, as the lowest people on the planet Earth right now by the common folk, and I'm speaking about the Israelites. Hey, we're looked upon as the lowest people on the planet Earth. Being called all these bywords like fucking, black, Puerto Rican, Colombian, Chilean, Native American, all these bywords and proverbs that were put upon us, man. Because what, when you go into the word black, all it means is void of light. Puerto Rico, all it means is rich port. Native American, a byword in itself. The word America goes back, of course, to the Amerigo Vespucci. And the word America in itself means bitter. When you go into etymology, it means bitter. So what, you're calling them native bitter people when you say Native American? So, hey, all these bywords, you got African American. Instead of saying that we're just plainly, the Israelites, they put these bywords upon us. But hey, that's prophecy at the end of the day. The Lord said that he would take our heritage from us for our disobedience. But what? Now we're in the time where it's being revealed onto us our true heritage. This devil is getting angry. This devil is getting hurt. Because he couldn't, no matter how much money he invested to keep this information from us, the Lord had it where it came out. Because it's prophecy at the end of the day that the elect will stand upon their feet. Read Revelation 11. It speaks to you about that. But hey, just want to bring that out real quick. Don't want to make the lesson too long. Just a quick hit to the spirit. Those who put us under captivity shall go into captivity. Everything that all these other nations that have afflicted us, which all these other nations have afflicted us, the Lord's gonna turn it back onto them, man. Scriptures say reward them double. Esau's gonna receive double, man. Then compared to what he has given us. So hey, just want to bring that out real quick. Lord willing, brothers out there edified. Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Bashim Akak with Ashbraka Thumb. Shalom.